So what if I told you that one of the planet's most incredible organisms could be growing in your kitchen, like right now, turning your actual trash into gourmet food? Well, today we are diving deep into the world of the oyster mushroom. We're going to see how its amazing ability to adapt is making it a superstar in urban farming and sustainability. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That amazing earthy smell, the sight of fresh food that you grew. And it all came from something you were literally about to just throw in the bin. Believe me, this is not science fiction. It's the totally wild reality made possible by the humble but mighty oyster mushroom. All right, so how on earth does a simple fungus actually pull this off? Let's get into it because this little organism is completely flipping the script on how we think about growing food, especially in the middle of our bustling cities. This is the big question, right? I mean, really think about it. An organism that can take what we consider garbage and turn it into something delicious and nutritious. It basically forces us to rethink what waste even means. And it all comes down to the very unique biology of this fungus. Now, to see this in action, we don't need to visit some futuristic high-tech lab. Nope. Instead, let's take a little trip to a small cafe in a very busy city. This is a perfect example of where a super simple idea led to a totally brilliant result. So picture this. Like any coffee shop, this place was churning out pounds and pounds of used coffee grounds every single day. And normally, all of that stuff just gets chucked out, headed straight for a landfill. But someone there looked at that pile of coffee grounds and saw something completely different. They saw potential.
Yeah, I know. It sounds a little weird, doesn't it? But that's exactly what they did. They took this so-called waste, this dark, fragrant material, and introduced it to some oyster mushroom spawn. They basically served up the coffee grounds as a gourmet meal for the mushrooms. And the result? Oh, it was just incredible. These beautiful, delicious, edible oyster mushrooms started popping up, growing right out of the old coffee grounds. It's the perfect illustration of the whole idea. A waste stream was transformed, just like that, into a valuable product the cafe could actually sell. Amazing. Okay, so what is the magic behind all this? How can a mushroom literally eat coffee grounds, or sawdust, or cardboard for that matter? Well, the secret is in its biological toolkit, which makes it one of nature's absolute best recyclers. Let's take a peek under the hood at the engine that drives this whole thing. This right here, this is the key to everything, mycelium. It's this huge web-like network that's usually hidden from sight. Think of it like the roots of a plant, but it's also its stomach. It reaches out, secretes these powerful enzymes, and just dissolves its food before absorbing the nutrients. It's the real powerhouse of the whole operation. And what's truly mind-blowing is just how much stuff this mycelium can eat. I mean, look at this list. We're talking straw, sawdust, even cardboard, and of course, coffee grounds. It's not a picky eater at all. And that's because it's a master at digesting cellulose. That's the tough, fibrous stuff that makes up plant cell walls. Those enzymes it releases are like tiny molecular scissors, just chopping up all this stuff we'd call waste. So you might be thinking, okay, but why doesn't the whole thing just get covered in mold? That's a great question, and the answer is that oyster mushroom mycelium is a straight-up bully. It's so aggressive and grows so fast that it just completely takes over, crowding out and overpowering any other potential competitors. This makes it super resilient and honestly, perfect for beginners who don't have a sterile lab in their house. Which, brings us to the really fun part. You can do this. You can do this at home. Seriously. The same exact principles that work on that rooftop in Bangkok can work right in your kitchen. And it really is pretty straightforward. First, you pick your substrate. That's just a fancy word for the mushroom's food, like straw or your coffee grounds. Next, you mix in the spawn. Think of that like a sourdough starter, but for mushrooms. Then, you just gotta keep things humid. A little spray bottle is perfect for this. And finally, give them some gentle, indirect light, and then just sit back and let the fungus do its thing. And because they grow so fast, you get to see the results really quickly. You can literally watch the web-like mycelium spread day by day, and then see the actual mushrooms pop up. It is such a cool, hands-on way to get a feel for how these incredible organisms work. So if we zoom out for a minute, this is about more than just a cool way to grow your own food. There's a much bigger lesson here, a lesson about being adaptable, being efficient, and seeing real value where most people only see trash.
This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We're always looking for these super complex, high-tech solutions to our problems. But the oyster mushroom, it offers this beautifully simple, elegant, biological solution. It really shows you the power of just working with nature's existing systems. So, at the end of the day, here's the big takeaway. The oyster mushroom is a perfect, living example of what we call a circular economy. It closes the loop. It takes waste and turns it right back into a valuable resource. And if you think about that on a larger scale, it gives us a blueprint for creating more sustainable and resilient cities.
And hey, if you think that's fascinating, you just wait for our next explainer. We're going to be looking at the evidence that suggests fungi can actually send information across their mycelial networks using tiny electrical pulses, kind of like their own biological internet. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss that.